Hey gang, Mocha Boy here. So we are in about the third hour of the academy. We've got several replays. We had about a string of three failures, which are really important that we're going to take a look at really quickly. But I did want to get one of the uh, attacks from one of the newer members out. And again, these are really important to go through so that we can go through and just dissect dissect the attacks to find out what went wrong. I mean, if they went right, that's fantastic. But if something went wrong, we need to understand why they went wrong. Mercutio, he's a new recruit with the clan. He's got a pretty beefy set of heroes, 25 and 21. Um, you guys have seen this base. This is I mean, I don't know what the name of it is, but I call it a shuriken because it kind of looks like a throwing star. But these are super simple bases to attack for farming because all you have to do is take out these army camps, and then a jump right over that Tesla to get you into the core of the base. Now, for an AQ walk, this is a little bit trickier because each one of these corners, except for this bottom right-hand corner, has 3-point defenses. And 3-point defenses backed up by a ground-facing expo, very, very difficult for the AQ to negotiate. Now, had this been my attack, I would have noticed that there were only 2-point defenses down here and probably started down around this corner and then worked my way up. He chose this corner, and unfortunately he had 2 splash defenses and 3-point defenses to have to work through, so that was his first problem. Um, in doing so, you end up having to either burn a rage or burn your AQ ability to keep the AQ alive. And this is one of the tricky things that is just going to take time and lots of attacks to figure out because you never know quite how much. I mean, you can sit there and do the math if you want, but trying to figure out if your AQ is going to survive a hit on a particular corner is always a tricky thing because once she gets into range of all 4 of those point defenses, all 4 of these defenses, that's the mortar, the whiz tower, the archer tower, she's going to have some trouble, even if she does manage to take out some of the point defenses. So he does have to use his AQ ability a little earlier. You have the option in a scenario like that of raging both the AQ as well as the healers. The healers will heal the AQ up to full, plus you'll still have your ability that you can deploy at a later time to take out the CC. So he's starting the kill squad jump into the core, starting to pull out the CC, and then again, one of the instructions here was to not use your poison, but to use a rage. Again, that's just to simulate a live fire exercise. Everything survives, which is great, even though there were wizards and archers in there, and the AQ is happily tanking that expo. Now the first problem that we ran into here was that set or this cannon here killed the golem and then retargeted the hogs that were coming in. I saw what he was doing there. He saw that the cannon was tied up, so he started to send in his hogs. Um, One giant right here would have taken up 3-point defenses. Unfortunately, he ended up dropping in I think it was like 9 hogs on 3 defenses, and then out of those 9 hogs, he ended up losing something like 6 or 7 of them, which is rough. That's a lot for those hogs to have to tank. And I think the one thing that missed early on here was this jump. If you could have gotten your golem as well as your BK into the core of the base just a little bit sooner, that would have relieved DPS pressure off the hogs. And this is an important lesson to learn, is finding the right balance between splitting enough of the base's defenses so that you have a lot of your tanky troops taking split DPS, but not one troop taking all of the DPS from the entire base. And by that I mean you don't want a golem tanking 7 defenses. You want a golem maybe taking 2 defenses. You definitely don't want any hogs tanking any defenses because they're terrible tanks, and that's what you use the giants for. So that's kind of the skill that you need to develop is how to pick apart the base mathematically to figure or to plan at least what's going to be tanking what at any given point in time. So from this first wave, he ended up losing something like 6 hogs, and that's going to end up biting him in the butt a little bit later on because these attacks get so tight. But as far as the bottom's concerned, he one giant, one defense. Not the best trade, but I get it. You have 30 seconds to plan these attacks, and everybody's still learning. And this is just one of those things that folks are going to learn over the course of time. So his hero and his golems are finally in the core, and thankfully they've tied up that expo, which is great. But this archer tower was kind of left to his own devices, and he's kind of running gangbuster with the remaining hogs. Plus there's those skeletons, which he finally uses his poison on, and that's what the exercise is built for, is to learn when to use that poison to take out those skeletons. But then unfortunately he loses the rest of the hogs to that last spring trap, and then that ends their career as cleanup troops, at least for this attack. So again, from a planning perspective, I think I would have chosen. Again, you have to look for those point defenses. No more than 2 point defenses on the AQ at any given point in time, out of range of the air defenses, out of range of the Expos. So try to pick the weakest corner if you can, or if you are going to pick the toughest corner, to go in there with a little extra tanking support, either by way of a giant or something else. So there are lots of different ways to attack those corners, especially if they're concentrated with a lot of point defenses. But again, this is a training exercise. It's a simulation. We're just trying to get people comfortable with the idea of distracting point defenses with giants, and figuring out where to heal, when to heal, where to jump, when to jump, how to jump, all of that fun stuff. So in terms of a training exercise, this was successful. Hopefully, over the course of the day, we'll start seeing better executions, fewer deployment errors, better targeting of the giants, and we can start seeing some more 3 stars. So thanks for joining.